Hello, everyone. This is the Hey Ed YouTube channel, and I am your host, moderator, and all-around nice guy, Edward Anderson. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't construe anything that I mention in any of my videos as financial advice. Always do your own research before doing anything with your money. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Today's video is a partial recording of one of the urgent meetings that I had this week for my Hey Ed WhatsApp group. And I thought I would share a snippet of it with you guys because this information is really important. When I started my YouTube channel, I didn't do it with the idea of becoming a professional YouTuber. Okay, I'm not that big of a channel. I'm a modest-sized channel. That's fine with me. My intention is to arm as many people as I can with some really important information that they're not going to get anywhere else. That's going to protect you guys and actually help you benefit. I've been very blessed in my life. I've been able to do very well, even in rough times, because I know some things. And there are things going on in the world right now that most people are still not paying attention to, but it's very important that you do. I also want to make a point that I didn't design this YouTube channel in order to promote programs that I'm doing. That's not why I do this. Look, whether you do these programs or not, that's fine. You're a sovereign human being. You can do whatever you want. But in the event that you would like to learn more information about some of the programs mentioned in this video, I have playlists that you can refer to inside of my YouTube channel that discusses each one of these programs in detail. And of course, you can always reach out to me via email, and I'll be happy to talk to you one-on-one. We can do a one-on-one Zoom if you want. All right, so enough of that. Let's get to it. That is, in my opinion, that's where the real stuff is going to hit the fan. But by the time that event happens, we're already going to be pretty far down the road of this financial crisis. I can't imagine what that is going to look like when it does finally happen. The CBO itself said that our current policies are unsustainable, that it's not possible to maintain our current financial policies. The whole idea behind raising rates is to fight inflation, right? That's a nice way of saying they want to make your life miserable, because in order to fight inflation, they got to get you to stop spending money. So how do they do that? They make it more expensive for you to make your mortgage payments, more expensive for you to make a car payment, more expensive for you to live your life. They want small businesses out there to stop hiring people. This whole process of raising rates is all about making our lives more difficult. This is on purpose, and this is by design. Jerome Powell said it in congressional testimonies. Life is going to be hard. He said that. That's what this process does. So while they're raising rates and making all of our lives more difficult, at the same time they're doing that, you have politicians spending money at an ungodly rate. Still, they have no respect for money. They have no discipline whatsoever. They're spending more money now in fresh spending than has ever been spent in human history. So on the one side, they're making our lives miserable by raising rates, making our cost of living more difficult. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, they're spending ungodly amounts of money that we don't have. We're $31.5 trillion in debt, but this current spending package that this current administration put out, they're blowing the doors off of it. No one has ever seen this kind of spending ever before. And nobody is complaining about it. No, I don't see very many, a few conservative Republicans up there are hemming and hawing. There's no big pushback against the spending policy. So for those of you who think that inflation cannot run away, it absolutely can run away. And I'm going to point you to Venezuela. We could have Venezuela-type inflation. Venezuela, it got as high, the rate got as high as 946%. It's come down a little bit. Year over year, it's only 300%. So, and those are the official numbers, 300%. Can you imagine what life in America is going to be like if inflation is at 300%? Forget 300%, call it 100%, 50%. There is a potential here for life in America to become really, really difficult. And the situation we're having right now with the debt load that we have and with the servicing of that debt, there, like I mentioned in a couple of my videos, there is only one solution, and that's to print more money. That's it. That's the only option they have to keep up with these payments on this debt. And when the fall rolls around and they've got to refinance a lot of that $31.5 trillion of debt at higher rates, that printing machine is going to be smoking. They're not going to be able to print money fast enough. Now that's a metaphor, right? Because we know that they don't physically have to print money. They do it all on the computer. They push a button and boom, money appears out of thin air. Fiat currency is just made up stuff, guys. One of my chores this morning, before I went and got my corned beef and cabbage, was I went to the bank. And I took another little pile out. If you guys are not reducing your exposure to your bank, I don't know what you're waiting for. Do I have to come over there and do it and take you by the hand to do it for you? Now, I'm not saying get all your money out of the bank. I usually keep 3 to 4 months worth of bill paying in the bank, and then I take the rest out. Now it's down to 1 month. Now, what I happen to do is, what I did is I prepaid a lot of stuff. All my, my cell phone bill, and I prepaid it for like 4 months. Okay, I don't worry about them. So I got lead time. And then I took a lot of that money in the bank, and I went to my 7K metals account, and I bought a bunch of silver. What's my mantra? Anybody? What's my 3-step mantra? You can come up here. Okay, reduce your exposure to your bank. Number 1. Number 2, put some of that money into gold and silver. And number 3, establish streams of passive recurring income. And so if you guys have not started that 3-step process, you got to do it, because we've all seen the pictures of people standing in line. And a lot of those pictures are not very old. They're just a few days ago. So don't be one of those people who have to stand in line. I hate to stand in line just going to the grocery store, much as sitting out in some inclement weather to get my actual money out of the bank. Don't be one of those people. Be proactive. Get some of that money out of the bank. At least some of it. Do something, guys. Okay, and then you got to get some of that money into gold and silver. Now, when you think about the assets to put your money in that relatively safe, the traditional response is real estate, gold, or silver. For me, I don't like real estate because real estate is going to go down, and when the stuff hits the fan, real estate is going to take a hit too. But I'd rather have it in gold and silver because it's liquid. It's all to push a button. Real estate is not easy to sell. It's a process. Gold and silver, I push a button, sell, push a button, buy, boom, done, nice and clean. Can you imagine if you held some gold the day before Turkey fell apart? Okay, so you converted some of your Turkish, what is it, the lira? You converted some of your Turkish currency into gold and silver. The next day, you could have bought 4 times as much of that same currency by waiting a day. If you had it, because if you preserved your buying power in gold, you get that gold, you buy 4 times as much. You can pay off your mortgage. You buy a little bit of gold at the right time, and then the currencies collapse. Well, now that little bit of gold you had, you can buy exponentially more stuff than you could the day before. Oh, but Ed, we're talking about the US dollar here. It couldn't happen to the US dollar. Of course it can happen to the US. It's already happening. US dollar is losing its reserve status, its reserve currency status. 10 years ago, the reserve status of US dollars held around the world was at 71%. Today, it's at 59%, going down. Very recently, Saudi Arabia announced that they're going to start using the yuan and the rubles. But before then, it was all US dollars. And other countries are looking to do the same thing. So the US dollar still is considered the world reserve currency, but it's diminishing in status at a pretty fast pace. There is an economic World War III going on right now. It's been going on, and it's going to get worse. So, several of my predictions that I gave you guys in my group that you're familiar with, have already come true. And the real big one that I'm on books with is this $1 quadrillion of exposure that the world financial system has to these derivatives, to the derivatives market. $1 quadrillion. When I first heard that number in doing my research, I thought it was a made-up number. But that is an actual number. It's like when you try to sit down in a philosophy class thinking about infinity, for the first time. How could something be infinite? It like blows your mind. You can't wrap your mind around it. $1 quadrillion. And those derivatives are largely a bet on interest rates. So one off day, just one off day, and we could see major banks wiped out. And the way it'll happen is they will announce it probably on a Friday night. Like that's their game plan, right? We'll learn about it on a Friday night, so we can't do anything about it for a weekend. Remember, any money you have sitting in your bank is not considered your money. Legally, it's not your money, guys. Any money you put in the bank is a little loan you gave to the guy in the suit behind the counter. It's a loan. So when this happens, when this event happens, you're not going to be able to get your money out. So you have to be proactive. Don't be one of the guys standing in line. And as much as you can, don't be this right here. This is worthless. This is garbage. It's not backed by anything. It's literally just pieces of paper because, you know, we went off the gold standard in 1971. Literally. The only reason why this has purchasing power is because we all agree that it's currency. So at the moment, we all agree that I can buy stuff with this, but that could change. The Roman Empire didn't collapse because of the Goths. It collapsed because of inflation. Inflation took down the Roman Empire. Most of the major empires in the world throughout world history were taken down because of inflation. That was the downfall of most major empires. And we could see it again. Now listen, those 3 steps that I gave you guys, you know, reduce your exposure to the bank, put some of that money into gold and silver, and establish streams of passive recurring income. Well, if I'm wrong, no harm is done. It's always good to have extra income. Now, why do I say it's important to have those streams of passive recurring income? It's because with inflation, that's the best way of staying ahead of inflation, is having extra income coming in. I mean, a year and a half ago, it was nice to have passive income. It's always nice to have extra money. But now is a necessity. Now you have to do it. And as you make that extra money, use that to buy more gold and silver. You can always convert your gold and silver back into cash whenever you want. It's a liquid asset. You're not buying anything. You're just moving your assets from one to another. So once you come off mute now, and I'd like to get some stories out there. About, have any of you gone to your banks to make withdrawals and gotten pushback by the person behind the counter? I've heard a few stories already about that.
As you know, I'm in a couple of the passive income schemes, Novatech and Daisy. I've been in them for about half a year now, although I'm just rolling over compounding the returns. So I'm not seeing any of that yet. But what I might do, and that was a question I was going to say to the group, as I'm getting these weekly returns, presumably it's a good idea now to cash them out and get into 7K to start buying some precious metals. Would that be a good plan?
Well, that's a loaded question because everyone's priorities are different, right? So it all depends on what your priorities are. I love 7K and I love Daisy and I love 7K. I love them all. They all serve different purposes.
Can I just put in there, Ed?
Yeah,
I think it's a great thing, the Sound Money wallet in 7K for the likes of moving stuff about without using the local systems, if you know what I'm saying. Just straight into your 7K wallet from whatever wallet you have, TronLink or whatever, exchange it into your 7K and buy your gold that way and your silver. That's the way I would probably go that way, you know.
Anyone else out there? So I guess the first question you should have started with, Dr. Dave? Dave?
Yeah, the day after Silicon Valley collapsed, or the next business day, I got an email from Wells Fargo, which is my main banking. I've been with them since 1975, so we have a long relationship. But it said, effective the end of this month, they will no longer have a line of credit MasterCard that will give you an emergency cash advance. So they are already cutting back on, like if you do an overdraft, whether accidental or on purpose, they're not going to cover that any longer. So that's the beginning. That's the first leg of pulling back. I can see what's happening based on what you've been telling us all along. They didn't refuse to give me my money. If I went up to the teller, I could get money from them. But this is just a very subtle way of now starting to limit their exposure.
Yep, exactly right. I guaranteed that everybody's credit lines are going to be cut, starting with the credit cards, or right down, but every credit line out there are going to be cut. And that is going to continue to happen. Yep. And so all credit lines are going to be reduced. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Dave. Have you reduced your exposure to your bank, Dave?
I don't need to because I'd already limited it a long time ago.
Nice. Very
good. I'm down to about a month and a half worth of bill paying in there.
Perfect. Anybody else out there? We got a lot of people in the call now. is there anybody out there who has been reducing their exposure to your bank, whether it's this week or prior to this week?
Well, we have been doing it anyway, Ed, from we've been on your channel. So it's just an ongoing thing now. We just keep a X amount in the bank to cover whatever needs covered, and that is it. The rest, Sound Money Wallet, and whatever follows after that, it gets delivered to your door every month or every 3 months. No
Right.
question, no problems.
Proud of you, very proud of you. I should put you on the poster. That's the reason why I wanted to have this emergency meeting, kind of really drive home the point, drive home the urgency, give you guys a little sense of urgency over this issue. Again, if I'm wrong and this all turns out to be a short-term blip and all the rest of it, no harm was done. It's not like you're losing out on all that big money you're making in interest on your bank account. Has anyone out there been acquiring gold and silver? Yep, Dave, Dr. Dave. Yeah, I know you have big time, and Mark has had them big time.
Not yet. I will be. Hopefully.
Marsha, yeah, okay. And Peter, I know you have, right? Yeah, excellent. Okay, so is there anybody on the call here who has not gotten into 7K metals yet? Okay. Yeah, Ali, I know your situation. All right. So look, listen, guys, I'm not just saying you should get in 7K because I want you on my team. This has been whether you do it with someone else or not, but that's not the point. The point is the whole idea behind the WhatsApp group is to, hey, it's about securing our personal sovereignty, right? And the best way to do that is financially. You want to be financially independent. And with what's going on right now, this is going to be a potential life-changing little period of the world. Personally, I'm really excited about the upcoming disaster because I'm prepared. And I want you guys to do the same thing. Houses that today are selling for $500,000, you're probably going to be able to get for half that, if not lower, before this is all said and done. But if you are riding the wave down, then your buying power for that house is going to be the same as where it is right now. You want to be in position now so that you can scoop up those buys. Unless you're a trader and you know how to make money in a down market, unless you're willing to do that, then your priority is to preserve your current capital with something like 7K metals. Now, I personally think that gold and silver are actually going to have a very nice rally. So I think 7K is going to serve two purposes. I think it is going to preserve your buying power, but also there's a really good chance that you're going to have a nice improvement in value that gold and silver have. Now, this is just one man's opinion, right? But I think that gold is going to shine big time. Gold and silver, I promise you, gold and silver is not going to be that easy to get pretty soon. When the next big down leg comes in this financial crisis, it's going to happen fast. How many times have I told you guys that when banks go under, it's not a slow-moving process. It happens fast. You saw it with Silvergate, SVB. I was trying to think of that. Yeah, SVB. These things happen fast. You're not going to have time to react. Well, if you take that same scenario is going to happen to the overall economy, the overall market, the real estate market, for that matter. Okay, because all financial markets are made up of human beings, and of the three emotions that drive the markets, which is fear, complacency, and greed. Of those three emotions, fear is the more dominant emotion.
You flirted with the aspect of real estate. Let me flesh that out a little bit more for your people. As soon as your money gets frozen in your bank accounts, you're not able to pay your mortgage. Well, if you can't pay your mortgage, then all of your lenders, think about it, multiply that by several million, your lenders are going to go under as well. There's going to be a lot of foreclosures of just literally thousands and thousands of homes that aren't able to pay their mortgages. They thought they had the money. It's sitting in a bank like Wells Fargo in my case, but you can't pay anybody. So that's why homes will be 2 cents on the dollar once that happens. You'll be able to buy up foreclosure, whole blocks of homes if you want them.
Yeah, we saw that in 2006. Our
Right.
friend Charles Regnery, that's what he did back in that crisis. He actually bought his current house. in the midst of all that. He picked it up for a song, a very nice house. And yeah, that's exact. And you know what? Actually, I should do a separate video on this for my YouTube channel. The banks want to own your house. The banks, look, listen, if you want to be a conspiracy theorist, you don't have to be, it's a fact. The banks want to own your house. So they're going to be able, remember, when you bought your house and you went to the house and you took out a loan, didn't the guy looked over your shoulder and said, so you're taking out a $500,000 mortgage. Do you think the guy looked over his shoulder and said, hey, Sarah, you want to move $500,000 from that side of the bank over to Dave's account? That's not what happens. They don't move money from one spot to another. They go on their freaking computer, they push the buttons, and they made it up out of thin air. It's free money for them. If you and I did what the banks do, we would be in jail. This is the con game of the modern financial system. This money is made up of, it comes out of thin air. But if you don't pay it back, you're in deep trouble. But they got it for free. They pulled it out of the air because the Federal Reserve gave them a charter that made it so they can legally do it. So not only do they make money on your money while you are making your payments, but when you stop making your payments and the value of your house, they're going to go and they're going to pick up your songs, and now they've got a house that they didn't pay anything for. Yeah, that's an excellent point, Dave. I'm glad you mentioned that. But that's why let's say you have your money in your bank, you can afford to make that mortgage payment, but it's frozen. Well, at least if you have some cash at home, if you had to, you can go somewhere and turn it into a cashier's check and send it to them and see. So that's one more reason to have cash on hand. And even better, if you have that in the form of gold, you can always convert that gold into cash, whatever you want. So for those of you who aren't in 7K metals, on my YouTube channel, I've got a whole playlist on 7K metals. We do Zoom calls all the time on 7K metals. My sponsor, support at 7K metals is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. One thing I can guarantee you, look, I can make a couple guarantees. One guarantee I can tell you is no matter what happens, your fiat currencies, in our case, the US dollar, is a guaranteed loss. I can guarantee that any money you have sitting in your bank or in your sock drawer, these guys, so much of the stuff, it's falling all, these guys, the guaranteed loss. I'm not making any money on it. So put it into something productive. At the very least, put it in something that's going to preserve the buying power, like gold. So really, guys, I want everyone to really, if you're not in 7K yet, let's get you in, because they have memberships of $200 or $400, or 200 or 500, right? Pick one, So what's your risk? That's your risk. $200 or $500, which is an annual fee, right? That's it. Everything else is gold and silver. And at the same time, you can build a team on it and get some actual income out of it. This isn't meant to be a presentation on 7K metals, but that just happens to be the best vehicle that I have for you guys to serve that niche, to serve that part of the three-step strategy. If you're not in 7K, reach out to me. Let's get you in it. And then the other stream of passive recurring income, Daisy and Novotech are my two big programs for actual passive. You guys know I have a trading background, right?
Can I butt in there for a second, Ed?
Sure.
There's also the rare coins.
Yeah.
So in time, there could be a potential gain of profits with that within time,
Yeah. So on that topic, so 7K, they have basically, there are two aspects to it, right? One is called the defensive nature of the program, which is just preserving your buying power. So that you get in the form of the bullion, just flat up, gold and silver. But then they do have the aggressive form of it, or the income form, which are the collectible side. Now, there's no guarantee with the collectibles, but I think they do have a good track record. We can talk about that more when we do 7K metals specifically. Reach out to me, watch my Zoom presentation on it, go to my YouTube channel, look at the Zoom call, let me know, ask me, tell me you're interested, and I'll let you know when the next Zoom presentation is. Ali does them all the time. There's a Zoom presentation on 7K metal pretty much every day. Look, listen, you guys all know there's only 3 programs that I will endorse, maybe too strong of a word, but there are only 3 programs that I share with the group. There's a reason why I chose those 3 programs: Novatech, Daisy, and trust me, I got other options I could show you guys. So, but those programs are best in breed in their particular categories, and I'm going to be leaning into 7K quite a bit more here because of what's going on in the economy, unless you're a trader. Okay, but again, even if you're a trader, I'd shoot you over to Daisy or Novatech because you're not going to beat those guys. I love trading. For those, I'm curious, is there anyone on the call here who are active traders who actively? Okay, Dave. Yeah, even today, Dave, are you still trading a lot, or?
I'm doing mostly puts instead of calls now because I'm expecting everything to go down. I'm doing that with Amazon and Booking and, all the big boys. I don't think they're going to go anywhere over the short term, except down.
Okay, so the reason why I ask is you guys all know that I've got a trading background, and traders, the advantage that traders have over investors is that traders can, if you're a good trader, you can make money in every market condition. You don't care which way the market goes, as long as you're on the right side. What traders want is volatility. The direction of the market doesn't matter. My common response to people asking me these days about my advice about how to learn how to trade is, why bother? You got Daisy and you got Novatech. Yes, they involve risk. Well, duh. Okay, but with those kind of programs, you only put into it what you can afford. It's risk capital. That's it. That's true with every program, right? I mean, at this point, I shouldn't have to say this anymore. You all know that when you get into programs like Daisy and like Novatech, you only put in money you can afford to lose. On the other hand, what are you making in your bank? Butkus, right? Let's be polite. Plus, with the currency going down, so you guys, so in terms of making your money work for you, you want to be looking at Daisy and Novatech really hard. In terms of preserving your capital with 7K. Now, with 7K, I do happen to believe, personally, that gold and silver are going to shine. They're going to have a pretty real dramatic move up in the face of all this. So that's going to be a nice side benefit, a nice bonus for being in 7K. So for those of you guys who are not in 7K, come on, guys, just do the standard $200, and you can do fractional amounts. Right? You don't. It's not just for the rich. You can buy as little as $5 or $10 worth of gold or silver in your account with the push of a button. It's not over, guys. I promise you, it's not over. The only question is the degree to which it goes down. And again, those 3 steps that I gave you, if this turns out to be, in the end, no big deal, if that is the case, no harm is done by doing those 3 things. But
so you completely exclude real estate. Now I had to forget about that.
Well, that's my personal opinion. Now, here's my take on real estate, right? I'm probably the only person that I know of my age group who's never made money on real estate. I've had like 7 houses in my adult life. Right? Now, I'm the opposite of most people. Most people lose money in the markets, but they make money on real estate, right? I'm the opposite. I've always made money in the markets because I'm a trader. I've always lost money in real estate. But that's because, look, partly because I broke my own rules. I broke one of the main rules of real estate, right? You're not supposed to have the nicest house on the block. So when I bought a house, I always, prettied it up. I poured a lot of money into the houses, and it ended up, so part of that. But look, personally, I never bought houses as an investment. I bought it as a place to raise my family, as a place, for my family. That was my primary reason for having a house. So with real estate, there are things that are out of your control. Personally, I don't like the sense of being out of control, not in control of my investment. That's why I like trading. I push a button buy, push a button sell. Well, I like control. I like to be able to and with real estate, there's so many things you have no control over that could affect the price of real estate. In this next financial crisis, like Dave told us, you're going to be, if you want to buy real estate, you're going to have a really good pick of the litter when this happens. So I think if you love real estate, I wouldn't spend my day talking you out of it. If you, there are people out there who know more about real estate than I do. I know more than the average bear, but I'm not a real estate expert. So don't let me talk you out of doing real estate, but reduce your exposure to your bank, get some of that money into gold and silver.
I'm on my way to the bank right now, Dave.
Excellent, excellent. Let us know in the group how it goes. What I'm really curious is whether they start talking you out of it. That's the stories I'm really curious about. They say, "Are you sure you want to?"
What do you want the money for?
Yeah, what do you want the money for? Yeah. Good luck, Roberto. let us know how it goes.
The bank right now to do a withdrawal.
Try a small withdrawal first and see if they'll give you it.
Yeah,
Let me see what they're gonna say.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. That's what I would do. Start a smaller withdrawal first, and then if it goes through, then do the bigger one. That's a good idea.
Okay. I only made $6 on interest anyway this year. $6.
$6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have about $30,000 in there. I made $6. They sent it to me the other day.
Wow, $6.
Okay.
After
I had to laugh when I saw it.
yeah. Oh yeah. You gotta have a sense of humor. After taxes, that $6 is really $3. Wow. Well, good luck, man.
And I have to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you offline tomorrow sometime about 7
good.
days.
Well, you
It
know
might
what?
be better if you ring into your bank first and tell them you're coming in to lift 10,000 tomorrow, and then they can have it ready for you or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, that's what I'm going to tell them. I'm coming back tomorrow too, right?
Sure. Yeah.
They only allow you to withdraw, I think, a minimum of 2,000 a day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask what bank you use?
Penn Fed.
Penn Fed. Okay.
Penn Federal Credit Union.
Okay. Well, it's a credit union, so that's a little better. Okay. Well, good luck, man. Keep us
All right.
posted.
I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah. So the limit. So okay. So that's a good point. So they limit you to 2,000
Yeah,
a day.
the last time I did a withdrawal, I was not able to do a withdrawal more than 2,000 per day.
There you go, guys.
Yeah.
Now, this is supposed to be your money, right?
Yeah. I was supposed to be going on vacation and I could not withdraw my money.
Just goes to show you, that's becoming a real issue in the States. But you take that issue times, in multiples, and that's what it's like in the UK, Ireland, England, Scotland. They really hate their customers. They really do not respect. Right, Mark? It's like
That's right. Yeah, we just received an email there today that we're going to start having to get a tax return on any crypto that you own now. This just came through to us today. So, my goodness. And then there's 1.38 million has been took off the national pension scheme as well today.
See if I have
Now, what about the 401ks and all that, Ed? What do you think about that? Should we start withdrawing from that also?
Ooh, boy, that's a tricky question because retirement funds like 401ks, you guys are down about 20% last year.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I know. I saw it.
And you know what? Next year is not going to be a whole lot better. I think next year is also going to be a loss. My opinion. That's my forecast. I think it's also going to be the only question is how much. Withdrawing from the 401, you have those penalties and to consider and all the rest of it, right? If they give you a choice about where to allocate your funds, usually what they do, they say, well, what percentage do you want in bond funds? What percentage do you want in stock funds? So maybe as an option, you could, at least for a while here, if they have a money market option, maybe stick it in a money market. I'm real shy about advising people to liquidate their 401ks because that puts me in a dangerous area. I'm not a financial advisor, right?
That money market, that was a good recommendation. That's a good recommendation.
Yeah,
right now, I'm losing all the way around. So we're different.
There's one school of thought, this is not my recommendation, but there's one school of thought out there is pull the Band-Aid, pay your little penalty for pulling your money out and then put it to work in something better. For whatever it's worth, Daisy is generating 14-20% a month.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I'm very satisfied with Daisy.
Let's be frank here. Daisy is an aggressive option. On the spectrum, it is on the far end of that spectrum. That's why any money you put into Daisy should be risk capital only. On the other hand, if Daisy keeps this up, and I expect them to. You know, a couple of years in Daisy compounding, just dust off one of those compounding calculators and see what it does. It's okay to take risk. Risk is not necessarily a bad word. Mankind would not have advanced if it were not for risk. You got to
You
take
take
risk.
a risk every morning, getting up out of your bed to go to work.
Yeah,
Jumping
But
into the car, driving down the road is a risk.
but you do it responsibly, right? Like with Daisy, you would not take out a loan to get into Daisy. You use money that you can afford to lose if it were to go bust. On the other hand, it's risk management, right? So, I mean, unless you're leveraged on something, the most you can lose on anything is 100%. But something like Daisy, it doubles what? It works out to like every 3.5, 4 months, roughly. So theoretically speaking, as long as Daisy lasts for 4 months, there's no more risk, right? So the real risk is how long will Daisy last for? 4 months, and then you have the opportunity of pulling your original money out if you want. What's the dream with passive recurring income? What's that you wake up one day and you have a stream of multiple sources of income that you don't have to work for. It comes in all the time and it's free money. So let's say, in theory, you start one passive income project. So let's say you start Daisy. You put your money in. After 4 months, whatever it is, 4 months, 5 months, you pull out your original capital. After that, there's no more risk. It's free money after that. So you take that same money and you find another program, maybe Novatech. You put in Novatech. And then
Gold or silver.
Gold and silver. Right. So whatever it is. So if you do that, in theory, you could fund X number of passive incomes with the same pool of money. if you do that. And you do want to have multiple streams. You don't want to rely on one program. As much as I love Novatech, Daisy, 7K metals, as much as I love them, you never know what you don't know. So your plan is far more important than anything else. Okay. Of course, the number one rule is you do not extend yourself to get into any of these programs. You don't take out a loan. You don't get leveraged. I don't know if any of you guys saw the video where I showed you my first YouTube channel, because swear to God, like 2 weeks ago, I was cleaning up all the all the channels I'm subscribed to. I came across that. What's this? Now I clicked on it. It was my channel. Yeah, I swear to God, I haven't looked at that channel in like 14 years. But I started, so I was literally one of the first guys on YouTube making market commentary. So I was a pioneer even back then. And you'll see, you think my videos are terrible now? You go back and watch those. Those were, but the content is good, because if you go back and since they're all there, you go back and you can just look at the chart. Was he right? I was crushing it. Back then I was giving specific trading ideas, and I started doing those videos in the advent of the financial crisis back then. The reason why I did that is it's a way of disseminating information without talking to 15 people on the phone every day. So I'll just put my commentary on there. You guys can check it out yourself. That's why I did it. But in the process of doing that, I memorialized that period of time. And you'll see I was right almost all the time in my general market commentary and in my trading tips. So I do have a background in this stuff, guys. I do know what I'm talking about. I'm trying to give you the benefit of look, I've lived through every crash since 1987. I've been through them all. I know what the game is. I know. So it's not like other people my age who have, quote, lived through it. I was inside there. I knew the game, because there is a game involved there. When they go on TV and when you see a talking head on TV spouting his opinion, that guy has an agenda 9 times out of 10. He's usually not telling you what he really thinks. I'm giving you guys a secret sauce. I'm giving you guys a peek behind the curtain about what's really going on, so that you guys don't fall victim to what's going on. And that's why right now, in this period of time, I just feel really a sense of urgency in getting this message out to you guys, so you can benefit from the little tricks of the trade, that I know. And I have not yet heard one person argue with me about my 3-step process, about whether it makes sense, doesn't it? So just to summarize here, guys, for this meeting, the message I wanted to stress a sense of urgency about how what's going on in the economy and in the financial markets, it can And it has a high probability of getting much, much worse. Don't think that it's over. I mean, could it be over? I suppose in theory it could be, but I've seen this movie before. And if you're prepared, you can take advantage of this. Okay. One of the secrets of the crash of 1929 is that a lot of millionaires were made. They were created during the Great Depression because people took advantage of it. We're potentially in that kind of environment again. So I want to put you guys in a position where you can do it. Reduce your exposure to your bank. Okay, put some of that money into gold and silver. And 3, establish streams of passive recurring income. So again, those of you guys who are not in 7K metals, you got to call me. That should be number 1. Number 2, if you're not in Daisy, we should get you into Daisy as well, because Daisy, very low bar. The minimum is only $200.
Copy that.